Today we're going to talk about the ambiguous case. What the ambiguous case is when I give you a triangle and you can get more than one correct answer. That's why it's called ambiguous. Now, the last multiple choice question on the Regents for 2013 had a question and it asked what could the angle of the triangle be? And everybody chose A because they found the angle, and they didn't realize that the angle could actually be two separate answers, and they should have picked number 4, which said ambiguous case. So realize ambiguous case means when you can get more than one answer and for an angle in a triangle using the law of sines. We're going to do these 3 examples for the different types of answers we could get here, and then we'll do some practice ones on the back. So it gives us the information for triangle ABC. We want to know how many triangles can I make given these measurements. The way I find it is to use law of sines to find the angle that I can find. In this case, I can find angle C because I'm given side C. So setting this one up for law of sines, it would be 20 over sine 30 is equal to 16 over sine C. Cross multiply. This time we divide by 20. So you'll have sine C equals that whole right-hand side. To get just C, what you do is you do your inverse sine. So you end up getting C equals, and we'll do some rounding if necessary, 24 degrees. Okay, so then we ask ourselves, is it possible to make a triangle with an angle of 30 that they gave us, an angle of 24 that we found? The answer is yes. The reason is because it's under 180 degrees. My question is, what would the angle B have to be? I'll take 180 minus 30 minus 24, then you get 126. So we've made one triangle. Now to see if you can make a second triangle, what you do is you're given your 30 degrees. You take 180 and subtract 24. 180 minus 24 is 156. So you have an angle of 30 and an angle of 156. Is it possible to make a triangle with an angle of 30 and an angle of 156? The answer is no. So in this case, how many triangles can we make? We can only make one triangle. That's our final answer. Usually as a multiple choice, it'll say how many triangles can you make, and the answers will be 0, 1, 2, or 3. You can never make 3 triangles, so that one's always out. You can either make only 0, 1, or 2 triangles. Let's look at our second example. We have that triangle. The missing angle that I can find is angle C using law of sines. So it's going to be 7 over sine 30 is equal to 16 over sine C. Cross multiply. Divide by 7. And take your inverse sine. And you'll get C ends up equaling, type it in. C ends up giving you an error. Calculator error. So when you get an error, you can't make any triangles, and you're done there. Okay, so that's an example of getting 0 triangles. Now, given this information, let's find angle B. For the third example, we're going to have 16 over sine B is equal to 10 over sine 30. Cross multiply. Divide by 10. And take your inverse sine. And in rounding if necessary, whole number here, 53. So you have your first triangle of 30 and 53. It is possible to make a triangle with those angles because it's under 180. So you take 180 and subtract off those 2 angles, and you end up getting that the third angle has to be 97 degrees. To see if we can make a second triangle, you use the angle they gave you of 30. You take 180 degrees and subtract 53. You get 127. So your second angle has to be 127. Now, you ask yourself, can you make a triangle with those two angles? And the answer is yes, it's under 180. Your third angle would be 23 degrees. So you can see here you've made two different triangles. We can never make a third, so our answer here is 2 triangles. And if you look below, those are your 2 triangles you could get. And when that happens, that's called the ambiguous case, when you can get more than one answer. I am going to skip these 2 problems right here. You guys will try them on your own afterwards. But it's the same idea. I give you information. Please draw your picture and solve it using to see how many triangles you can make. I'm going to concentrate on the word problems below. Ross says that when he jogs, his path forms a triangle. 2 sides of the triangle are 2 and 2.5 kilometers. And the opposite angle of the shorter side measures 45 degrees. Rosa says that when she jogs, her path also forms a triangle with 2 sides of 2 and 2.5 and an angle of 45 degrees opposite the shorter side. So right now their triangles look the same. It wants to know, Rosa says her route is longer. Is it possible? So Rosa's saying that this side for her is bigger than Ross's side for him. And it says, explain. Well, this question is really asking us, can we make 2 different triangles? Well, let's see if we can. Law of sine says it's going to be 2 over sine 45 equals 2.5 over sine x. Cross multiply. Divide by 2. And take the inverse sine. When you type it in, you end up getting 62 degrees. Yeah, 62 degrees. So, is it possible to make a triangle with a first triangle with an angle of 45 and 62? The answer is yes. Okay. The third angle would be 73. Now to see if we can make a second triangle, and that's Rosa's goal, to be able to come up with a different triangle that works. Okay, we would have to use the 45 degrees. We would take 180 and subtract 62 to get 118. We see that it is under 180, so my third side could be 17 degrees. So yes, since we can make 2 triangles, it is possible for Rosa's route to be longer. So the yes, because we can make 2 triangles. And I'll set this one up. You guys will finish this one as well. Emily wants to draw a parallelogram. So a parallelogram is just anything where the opposite 2 sides are equal. The measure of one of the sides is 12. The measure of one of the diagonals is 10. And the measure of one angle is 120 degrees. So I could see from my picture that this was my obtuse angle, so this is my acute. They add up to 180, so that's 60. I want to know, is it possible to make, is it even possible to make this parallelogram? So using the setup, look at the bottom half of this parallelogram only. It's a triangle. We can use law of sine to try to find this angle right here. It's going to be 10 over sine 60 has to equal 12 over sine x. You're going to finish this, cross multiply and solve. If you can get x to equal anything, the answer is yes. If you can't, then it's no.